Hello, my name is Hitendra Patel. I'm the Managing Director of the Global Innovation Management Institute. I'd like to welcome you and join our vision and our mission of the Institute. Our vision is to democratize innovation everywhere. In organizations like universities or corporations, in high schools, in governments. And the idea is to unleash that creativity across the globe. Our mission is much more simpler: to train 1 million people worldwide, certify them, and unleash their creativity and their problem-solving skills to target any problem on this planet. The Global Innovation Management Institute has got certifications for individuals, for corporations, as well as for the government. And the whole idea over here is through certifications, people have the right to practice innovation. Through certifications, we create a roadmap for how to get better and improve as we get level 1 certificate to level 2 to level 3. We are today working with the Dubai government, the Qatar government, across Colombia, in Brazil, in the United States, helping these institutes and these countries become better in terms of their innovation journeys. We're working with corporations, giving them roadmaps, how they can go from level 1 to level 2. And we're giving certificates to individuals as they go from level 1, 2, 3, and 4 in terms of how they can actually innovate themselves, how they can innovate in teams, and how they can innovate in a company.
We've worked with several innovation consultancies, and we found the GIMI methodology to be able to help us democratize innovation very quickly across large groups of people.
Curriculum isn't enough anymore. We need to really be finding ways to expand the school into the community and bring the communities into the school. And design thinking and the GIMI impact model is what's going to help do that. I think that we really need to start looking for authentic, experiential learning opportunities for our students. And this is a really great framework that teachers can use that makes it easy to do.
The value that we see being part of the GIMI program is that we can offer capability building for students, for professionals, for corporations, and that's really exciting to be able to create a language that can help everybody connect with what strategic innovation is.
Today we've got 25 countries who are partners of the Global Innovation Management Institute. We'd like to see all 195 plus countries becoming part of this institute. So we are looking for training partners across the globe. We're looking for university partners in every one of those countries so they can be part of our network. And we would like to see companies and corporations around the world all embracing the certification programs of GIMI. And as a result, we can target any problem and we can solve any problem. Join us on our mission through certificates to give people the right to practice and a roadmap of how to improve.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome in the day a GIMI Think Tank session. As you know, GIMI Think Tank is an online platform that we run every Wednesday consistently. And this is a collaborative space where we invite all the members, professionals, our certified alumni, so all innovators from 6 continents every Wednesday to create awareness around innovation and GIMI framework, as well to share valuable and cutting-edge knowledge or different trends or innovation state of a country from distinguished speakers around the community. I am very happy today because we have an interesting speaker and topic. Usually, let me share the screen, and if you can spotlight as well our speaker for today, Lenka. It's very interesting to hear about this topic, actually, because usually sometimes there is a perception going on that project management and innovation are like the 2 sides of the medal, and it seems there might not be linkages, but Lenka will shape a different opinion about this and will give her own point of view. She is the Chief of Staff to the CEO of Project Management Institute, and for the first time, Project Management Institute is joining this webinar. And she will talk about project management and its linkages with innovation. Actually, Lenka oversees the transformation management enterprise program management office, CEO, board communication, thought leadership. So all the most important, I would say, roles basically that are in the executive team of PMI. Her role is in driving the organization strategy basically and fostering the culture of innovation and excellence across all levels. Before this role, Lenka brings also international experience in digital transformation, culture shifts, organizational agility, and she held leadership roles focused on this, basically in different banks as the head of agile transformation, as well building high-performing teams and executing roadmaps. Lenka holds a Master of Science in Computer Science, Software Engineering from Charles University. She has earned a Digital Excellence Diploma from IMD Business School of Switzerland and completed the European Women in Board C-Level program. Lenka, welcome in today's webinar. Very happy to have you here. And I would like maybe before starting the speech to ask you a question. Actually, you come with a background, I would say, an experience on innovation, right? You have led digital transformation and you have led innovation culture in different companies. How is this experience of yours is going to shape right now PMI, basically community strategy, but also thought leadership?
Right. So thank you. That's a great question. And thank you for having me. And hello to everyone who is joining today's webinar. So yes, so for the past little bit over 20 years of my career, I was on that practical side where we were innovating and transforming our products that we were offering to our customers. So I had great experiences, for instance, when once I was part of a program where we were literally transforming our physical products into digitized products, and we were building new services and new solutions for our customers by using Internet of Things, big data, and a little bit of artificial intelligence at that time, very, very early stages. Then later, when I was working in different banks, then we were working on, again, use of artificial intelligence and other technologies to innovate our products and increase value of our offerings and value for our customers. So that was more the practical side. And now when I work for the Project Management Institute, then for me, it's a great opportunity to use all this learning and experience and basically share it with my colleagues who work on research and produce assets for our community, for project professionals, to help them get better and learn skills that they need to be prepared for future. So for me, this is a great opportunity. And of course, I'm very happy to be part of PMI team and especially be part of our thought leadership teams.
Thank you, Lenka. For us as a community who are trying to democratize innovation around the world, this is good news that basically innovation is going to be more part of the project management as well domain. Okay, thank you, Lenka. The floor is yours.
All right, so I will share my presentation, and we are not a very large group today in a sense that I hope that we will have a very fruitful discussion after that it will not be only one way, me talking to you. So I would like to encourage everyone, if you have any question, just please share it in the chat, share it in Q&A. And if you are really impatient, I actually do not mind if people just jump in and ask me while I'm talking. I am very terrible at interrupting other people talking. It's one of my flaws. So I need to be fair, and I don't mind if someone does it to me too. Okay, so let me share my slide deck. I prepared a couple of slides, and right, do it this way. So I was hoping to talk for about like 25 minutes, and then we will open the floor for Q&A. So because this is for the first time when PMI is attending the think tank, I included just two brief slides just to explain what PMI is doing, what is our purpose. And then, of course, the major part of my slide deck is about innovation and project management. And then, as I said, I hope that we will have time for Q&A. So first, a little bit about PMI. A Project Management Institute is an organization with very rich history. So it was established more than 50 years ago. And 50 years ago by 5 people. That is nice play with numbers at that time. And from this group of 5 founders, 5 people, over these years, Project Management Institute grew into the largest organization of its kind. It's a global, not-for-profit, purpose-driven organization that operates across 8 world regions. We have more than 730,000 members worldwide. We are working with more than 11,000 of volunteers worldwide that are organized either as our global volunteers or they work with our local chapters. Again, we have a very high number of chapters, 300, so it's covering more than 250 countries around the world. We already bestowed 1.6 million of our professional certifications. Actually, we bestowed more, but 1.6 million is the number of active certification holders. And we also work with global leading organizations that are organized in a body that we call Global Executive Council. So this is the coverage, this is the scale of PMI. And what we are focused on is our purpose. So basically, we use this scale, this outreach, and our resources to deliver on this purpose. And our purpose is to maximize project success to elevate our world. So you see that this purpose, it has 2 parts. So first part reads, we maximize project success. The second part reads, to elevate our world. Both of these parts are very important for us because project success, that basically speaks about that ability to deliver, ability to support strategy execution, ability to support innovation initiatives, and elevate our world. That is always keeping in mind, why are we doing this? What is the purpose of our projects? What is the impact that we want to create? And how do we support project professionals so that they have the voice and they can speak up and they can shape their projects and initiatives to create bigger impact? So this is what our teams are centered around. This is the purpose that our teams follow, and this is what is shaping, for instance, our thought leadership, research, and outcomes, and basically the innovation of the profession. So with that being said, now let's look a little bit at the world that we live in. So our current world is very interconnected. And you know, when I was putting this presentation together, I was thinking, oh, let me think about some good example how to explain what I mean. And then in the meantime, this thing with CrowdStrike happened. So I think that unfortunately, a lot of us actually experience that interconnectedness of the world. So that means that even if some like little thing happens somewhere in some office, it can have literally global ripple effect, and that effect lasts. So even if you know, the file was corrected or whatever, some businesses, they still face impact, and then their customers face impact, and it will probably last for some time. So that's a sign of this interconnectedness. And that means that the world as such, and large organizations, but also small organizations, literally everyone, is shaped by these mega trends, which are forcing us to transform. So then businesses, they need to transform to be able to adjust their business models to the new rules of the ecosystem that they operate in. And that indeed is also impacting the way we deliver these changes, the way we deliver these transformations. I often use a funny example from my own personal career journey. So for instance, when I started to be, when I joined the workforce, which is like more than 20 years ago, I worked on projects, and whenever we were launching a new project, it was a celebration, it was a kickoff meeting, it was something, it was, you know, like we sometimes even had a cake. It was like a big thing. The company was launching a project. But then over these past 20 years, the situation changed completely. Organizations are delivering so many projects. There are no more kickoffs, there are no more celebrations. It's just managing portfolio of large number of change initiatives, and it's all about optimizing your way of delivery, working in different modes of delivery, because we keep changing constantly. So also the word transformation, I personally believe that it will be redefined sooner or later, because again, transformation suggests something like a change, like I start somewhere and then I finish somewhere and things are different. But actually the reality of today is that we live in perpetual transformation. So it's a question like, should we still call it transformation? And this is very important because whatever project, whatever innovation you do, there always has to be objective. You always need to understand how it's going to serve the business, how it's going to serve the customer or the community. So that's why I prefer to look at these things more from global perspective, from big picture, to understand what is needed on the project management side to support it properly. So just to give you a few examples, when I'm talking about, I like to work with this report, which is produced by World Economic Forum. Every year they produce report of global risks. So what you see on first 4 places, all these 4 risks are actually related to our environment. And so they relate to one of the mega trends, which is about sustainability. This has impact on companies, this has impact on projects, this has impact on innovation. So that's on global scale. When we go one layer deeper, we can look at business risks. So what are the risks that CEOs has to deal with? So this report is from Alliance Risk Barometer. So what we see here, this is more operational. So you see here cybersecurity, business interruption, supply chain. So that supply chain, we talk mostly about global supply chain, right? This is the interconnectedness. Natural catastrophes, so that's environmental, changes in regulation, legislation, macroeconomic development. So again, we see that there are forces, there are trends that are pushing us for this perpetual transformation of businesses. And then on the level of project management, of the way we deliver these changes and support these transformations, we also see trends that are shaping the way we work and the way we deliver projects. So very strong trend that we are experiencing for already some time is shift of ways of working from more like strictly defined method to hybrid approaches. So actually the rise of hybrid approaches as a primary method of way of working in companies that we survey for project management increased by 57% from 2020 to 2023. So that's quite a steep rise. We also see that working purely in agile way of working is more or less stable, with a little bump, but more or less stable, and predictive way of working as a primary method of delivery is going down, which again, when you look at all these mega trends, when you look at this interconnectivity, it makes sense because companies need to be more agile. They need to be more able to adapt faster. So this makes all sense, but it's creating requirements on teams that deliver these changes and how they handle operations, innovations, resource allocation, and all these things. Another very strong trend that we see, this will probably be no surprise to anyone, is that remote work is staying. So currently from our latest research, latest numbers saying that 61% of project managers work at least partially remotely. So this is again, not only that we have some perks, by the way, I also work remotely. This is my home office behind me. But the thing is that working remotely, especially when you lead larger teams, global teams, multicultural teams, or teams that need to do creative work, working in remote environment is different than innovating where you have everybody around you. You share ideas differently. There are different requirements for keeping team on the same page, to communicate, to be cohesive, to even share and inspire each other. So leaders need to learn how to read differently. And then the second trend, which is impacting project delivery, is again probably not a surprise to anyone, and that is artificial intelligence, where the estimation is 91% of impact on project professionals and project operations. So this is what we have to deal with today, and that leads me to this. So my takeaway from all of that is that organizations, they need agility, ability to adjust quickly. They need resilience, which means ability to withstand the shock. For instance, when you think about these business risks, cyber attacks in the first place, so that's about resilience. And they need something which is called anti-fragility. So that is basically that ability to reinvent yourself when you face a disruption. And that starts to be interesting, right? Because how do you even do that? So on enterprise level, when you want to achieve that anti-fragility as your enterprise capability, there's no other way than to basically constantly innovate and adapt. is not only about adapting, because adapting, that's agility. Agility means like you do more or less what you do, but when things change, then you're able to adapt quickly. So for instance, just to give you an example, when I worked on digital transformation in banking industry, we worked most of the development, software development was of course organized in agile teams. We had our backlogs, we had our priorities, and then COVID came and we had to reprioritize. And because of the structures that we had in place, we could reprioritize very quickly. That was that organizational agility. Like we were able to relocate resources and everything was fine. But we were only reacting to what happened outside. We were not reinventing ourselves. So that's agility. There's also resilience. We were able to keep operations. So that's mostly for that regulated part of the business. So we basically didn't take any hit with COVID. So that was resilience. But that reinventing yourself, that's anti-fragility. And you need that if that disruption doesn't bring you back when you were before that happened, when that disruption changes your landscape, your operating environment, your ecosystem. For that, you need to innovate. That comes with exploring, testing, iterating. It also comes with decentralization in a sense that you need to empower your teams. You cannot have like just one smartest person in the room who makes all the decisions, because then this person becomes essentially a blocker, right? If everything goes just one single source. So you need to empower people. You need to think about technologies such as low-code, no-code development, so that you can really democratize that innovation and ability to improve. Diversification of your skills and multi-skilling. And this, of course, is impacting project way of working as well, because project people, these are the people who are there to help you execute these changes and basically help you innovate. So what is very important for them, because we need to embrace more uncertainty, we don't know what will be the result of that innovation. We know where we need to change something, but we might not know specifically what does it mean. So that is actually a very strong call to strengthen your business acumen, to work with data, to understand big picture, to understand what impact you want to create instead of what is the job that I have to do. Then practically, it also means working with agile project portfolio management, which, for instance, I don't want to go into details right now, but for instance, the major difference is in the way you prioritize and assign your resources. And again, project managers need to be fluent in all these techniques and new approaches. You need to work with technology to help you improve your efficiency, because you want to use your brain for more sophisticated, for more complex tasks instead of doing routine things. And of course, again, it's a lot about people. You need to have ways to empower your internal talents. Otherwise, you losing on that opportunity. So when it comes to innovation, which became a necessity, and this think tank is about innovation. I didn't want to talk only about project management, but I actually put here 3 examples that I consider successful innovation. So one example is when you are able to answer a question, how can you reinvent and create new value by your innovation? So for instance, when you say, I want to be best at something, you want to be successful, you want to use that for your business growth, you need to understand how you create that value. It's not enough to say, I want to be the best. That's not enough to tell your teams, give me the best banking app. You need to understand how it fuels growth and how it creates value for your customers, so that innovation is successful and it's not only investment. Then the second example that I have here is that sometimes you innovate when you face disruption and you want to create that disruption by yourself. You are the one who wants to disrupt, not to be disrupted. So again, you need to deeply understand what is actually driving that disruption. So for instance, one example, what I mean by that is that the reason why blockchain was invented, not innovated, invented. The reason why blockchain was invented was to disrupt traditional finance operations and to create something which is called distributed finance. So the reason for that innovation was essentially to create a disruption, to disrupt existing business models. And then a third innovation that I can see. Third type of innovation is, for instance, that someone else invented something, but it's not yet perfect. There are some frictions on the way. And then you can use these frictions to solve them and basically be part of that growth by solving frictions that the original innovation didn't address. So when I have a question for you here. So when you look at these three examples, what do you think that they have in common? Is there anything that you see in common for them? And actually, as I'm presenting, I don't really see you. So I don't know if Erila maybe can help me out if you see anyone who wants to answer to this question, anyone who wants to share.
We see answers in the chat saying digital, customer-centered.
Yes, but no, that's not the answer I'm looking for.
They're all looking for growth.
That's also not the answer I'm looking for.
Technology disruption, is somebody saying?
They all require change.
Sorry?
They all require change.
No.
Those are all trends.
Value-driven.
Value-driven, maybe we're getting closer, but okay, so I will show the next slide. So what I actually mean by this. So they have one thing in common, and that is that these three examples, how you can approach innovation, are all based on deep understanding of that ecosystem. And I would use the word system. So when you, I don't know, someone knows this Cinefin model, which is displayed here on this slide. Anyone who is attending this webinar knows this model?
Familiar with it, yes.
Yeah, right. So I like to use this model to explain why it is important to develop your system thinking skills as a problem-solving technique when you operate in complex environment. Because I believe that, and again, I don't know how exactly when you talk about innovation, if, for instance, when we improve something, we consider that innovation. I think we can, like, why not? But when it comes to business growth and when it comes to transformation projects, we do not typically operate in that dimension of simple or complicated problems. Because simple, complicated problems, it's either about good practices, best practices, it's about automation of your processes, and it's about improving your productivity, and you can do innovation to automate something, to simplify your process, and that's fine. But when you really transform something, then you mostly operate in that complex, and when you are disrupted, you operate in that chaos dimension. But you can move from chaos to complex dimension by understanding the system that is beneath that situation. And again, I know that on this webinar, we don't have that much time to deep dive in system thinking, but we can maybe next time, because it's one of my favorite topics to talk about. However, what I'm trying to say by that is that apart from that, all the other trends that I mentioned, like working remotely and working in different ways of working in hybrid environments and learning new technologies, here's another very important thing, an important skill for project managers to support innovation, and that is their ability and that skill of system thinking, so that it helps you to solve complex problems that you need to address where you're facing disruption or when you want to create disruption. So to start summarizing it, what you see on this slide, this is what we sometimes call a picture of a modern, new, or sometimes someone actually called it a Renaissance project manager. So the thing is that we need to strengthen business acumen, as I talked about before, but we also need to strengthen something that we call power skills. And these skills are needed to support organizations in their innovation efforts. They are about problem solving. So when we talk about complex problem solving, they are about strategic thinking. That is that business acumen behind knowing why I'm doing it and what impact I want to create. And it's about collaborative leadership, and it's about empowering your talents. So this is how the profession is changing more specifically, and this is how we want to support project professionals so that they are ready to support all these innovations. That's on the individual level, the skills on the individual level of professionals. But of course, there are also some things that need to happen more on the enterprise level, on the organization-wide level, and that is the way you approach your portfolio of your initiatives. So again, when 20 years ago, we have a list of projects, they were sorted by priority, and that was it. Today, we can forget such a simple model. We have combination of projects, we have combination of agile teams that work mostly on digital innovation, and then we need to bring this portfolio closer to C-level, to executive teams. We need to be more cautious and more intentionally allocate our resources to core functions, to improvement, to innovation, because you probably discuss and you know that if you don't allocate any resources intentionally to innovation, then it's probably not happening. We need to support our teams with productivity tools so that they can spend their thinking on more value-added activities than on things that can be automated. And because of all this remote environment, we need to also provide them very good collaborative and communication tools so that people can share and talk and create and innovate in hybrid and remote environments. So this is what we are facing. This is what we are trying to support with our thought leadership, with our advice, and with our training, so that, as I said, project professionals can be better equipped to support innovation. So to summarize it, I see three main themes of linkage between project management and innovation: business acumen for decision-making, tech savviness, fluency in ways of working, and then these power skills that help you with collaboration and empowerment. So that's all from my end. And now I can hand it over to Ariela and Hitendra. You can moderate Q&A.
Thank you very much, Lenka. What we'll do is we'll go into another 1 minute small intro on GIMI, and then we'll do Q&A. So for everybody in the audience, please save up your questions, put them in the chat, and let's have a really powerful discussion after the break.
Join the world's largest community of innovation professionals. GIMI IYP is the largest professional network with over 13,000 members in 119 countries. GIMI IYP is also the leading certifying body in innovation management, offering a broad portfolio of programs to jumpstart and enhance innovation capabilities. Additionally, GIMI IYP is a preeminent thought leader, publishing the International Journal of Innovation and Science, numerous books, and hosting the GIMI Think Tank platform.
We wanted an organization that took a very process-oriented approach to innovation. I guess because we're a university, we weren't only interested in, hey, how do you make a new product? I mean, that's fine. We're also interested in the science behind innovation, because if we understand that, then we can go teach others how to be innovators.
Here's an overview of all GIMI IYP membership packages. The professional and student membership offer countless networking opportunities, exclusive member discounts for GIMI certifications and courses, regular innovation webinars led by global thought leaders, a complimentary innovation potential assessment, and early access to job opportunities in the Career Center. The business and government memberships offer 10 to 40 professional memberships for your team, complimentary individual innovation potential assessments for 1,000 team members, complimentary organizational innovation assessment for one business unit, exclusive discounts on GIMI's products and services, and access to GIMI's portfolio of innovation books and resources. The Academia membership offers 5 professional memberships for university leaders and professors, discounts on GIMI's products and services for 500 students, early access to job opportunities in the Career Center for 500 students, complimentary innovation potential assessments for 1,000 individuals, and a complimentary organizational innovation assessment for one business unit. Become a GIMI IYP member and join the community of over 13,000 innovators worldwide.
Lenka, that was a great presentation. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the linking of what was traditionally project management to what is part of all projects, innovation, and then giving us insights on where the world is going. I really enjoyed the fact that you started off with these trends, these mega trends that were affecting you, whether it's working from home or AI. Let's begin with that. What are you as PMI's Institute doing to bring into project management capability, knowledge, and training, how to work from home or how to actually use AI and all in integrating that? What is the shift in what you used to do before? And what are you suggesting or proposing is there a new and a better way to work? Let's start with that.
Right. So there are many things. I'm just thinking where to start, but maybe I will start with AI, because I think that AI is a trend that is impacting all of us. It's also very visible. So last year in summer, actually, we launched an initiative that we call PMI by AI. And it's a cross-functional effort of our teams that produce learning content, our thought leadership team, and also our digital products team, and communications and marketing, so that we can get the word to the community. But essentially what we tried to do, that we allocated our resources to research about impact of AI on project profession. And then we produce assets and products for the community so that they can learn and that they understand that impact. So for instance, on the learning side, we already released 3 online courses for project professionals. They are free for our members, by the way. And the first one is Introduction to Generative AI and Impact in Project Management. The second is Understanding Data Landscape and how to work with data when it comes to generative AI. And the latest one is about prompt engineering. So that's essentially to improve your abilities to talk with generative AI chatbots and use it to improve your productivity. Then in parallel to that, our thought leadership team launched a new research, which has 4 parts for the year 2024. So we released the first part already, and that is understanding how project managers, project professionals can actually use Gen AI to improve their productivity, collaboration, etc., and also what needs to be done to support adoption of this technology. Now, the second research, which will be released soon, I was just approving the draft today, goes a little bit deeper and will provide examples of use cases and application of this technology in, let's say, daily work, daily life of project professionals. So that's one part of the report. And the other part of the report is trying to understand how organizations can support adoption of Gen AI, because I cannot really share insights right now.
Oh, no worries.
But I can say that what we already shared in our first research is that essentially the more fluent you become with this technology, the more benefits you see. So we really encourage everyone to take these learning courses and try to master this technology, because there is very tangible impact on productivity, and then it gives you more brain space to work on understanding impact, etc. So I would say that overall, what we are connecting, what is different, what is new, that we really try to closely connect that thought leadership research and insights with our learnings and offerings and tools. We also produce our own tool. We call it PMI Infinity, which is a chatbot, which is like a co-pilot, essentially, specifically designed to support project management use cases.
Very good, Lenka. I look forward to the research and reading it when it comes out, and very critical. The fact is, I think intuitively we know what the conclusions are. We need to learn to work from far and together distances. We know we have to use AI to create that space and go faster and quicker. But we're finding tremendous resistance from human beings saying that's not how I used to do it. And let's talk about working from home and working in the office. Those are more senior, had experience working in the offices, and they like working with the teams in front of them and making sure rapid communication happens. The new generation, which was born after COVID, through COVID, got the experience of being able to work from far away. And they believe that they can work from far away. So there's resistance of those types, one. And then on the AI side, there's also resistance where people are kind of holding information or trying to stop because they fear they'll lose a job. There's resistance of that. So the word resistance is a big part of how do we retrain a whole society that, sorry, the tsunami is happening, that these changes are happening, but you will need to change. And are there things that you're paying attention to? Because you have the third circle, which was about strategic thinking skills, and there was some other skills, behavioral skills, collaborative skills, and all that. How much energy are you spending on the soft skills to help people adapt and change and collaborate and partner in PMI?
Right. So I would say, so I see two parts of that question. So the first part of that question is like how to work with that resistance. And, I think that that's really a lot about our own mindset, because when you see a situation in front of you, you can either translate it as a risk, I'm afraid that I will lose my job, or you can translate it as an opportunity. Like I can learn something so that I can elevate my job. I can actually elevate my impact. And I think that this is a personal choice that each of us has to make. We are trying to support that choice and encourage people and empower people by all the resources that we produce for them to make it easy for them to adopt. Like, for instance, when I talked about this tool, Infinity, you can just go there and you can just try. It's no risk to try. You try something in the tool and then you see if it's working or not. And then we give you more resources if you want to learn more and say, okay, I'm really here to reinvent my job and I will learn and I will get better. Now, when it comes to power skills, this is very interesting because it's harder to teach power skills because power skills are essentially about interactions with people. So for that, we are activating another part of our flywheel, as we call it, and that is our community. So not everything can be provided to people as a digital resource, like a learning course or a report, but we also work with our community. We operate more than 300 chapters, and these chapters, they offer these opportunities for people to go there, to connect with the community, to network, to learn, and basically have face-to-face interactions and talk and share that experience about how to deploy your power skills. For certain power skills like problem solving, for instance, we already released last year a paper about system thinking and how it connects to project management. And I hope that we will produce more, because this is, for instance, one of the things that I believe is really needed. But for power skills, we are more activating our chapters, and we encourage people, go meet other people. Chapters are literally all over the world, and use this peer-to-peer exchange and experience sharing and coaching and mentoring so that it helps you to get better at these skills.
Lenka, you guys as an organization are very innovative. I mean, you are one of the most successful organizations, over 1 million members, hundreds and hundreds of organizations are employing people in these things. And you have been changing and innovating through the last 30 years, if not more, right? Adapting from paper to digital, from digital to internet to online, all these things. And you guys have been right on the change. And I noticed that you use trends to do that and be successful. But at some point, it gets harder and harder to be able to pivot and change from 5 people to the size you're at now. So what are the things that you believe that you got to keep in control within your organization and have sharp control to make sure that there's some discipline in the ideas or the thought leadership or the practices? And which one are you saying, let them go free and let them figure out on the regions, let the partners and the members do what they want to do, because ideas are going to come back through them also. So I'm just curious how you guys are now from a very small organization to today, one of the biggest organizations on the planet. How are you managing this control that is necessary to keep your identity, true identity of what PMI is, and yet at the same time flourish and grow?
Right. That's a great question. And again, for people who knows us a little bit and follow us on social media, because we are quite transparent, we just share that. We actually published our new strategy that was released at the beginning of this year. But before we released that strategy, before we even formed the new strategy, we actually spent a lot of work on redefining our purpose. It's not redefined in a sense that it would be a different purpose. It was more like sharpening it and bringing us back to the focus on what matters, and that is the profession itself and the impact that the profession needs to create. And I think such exercise to revisit your purpose and say, does it still speak to our audiences? Is it still clear what we are doing? Do our employees still understand what we want to achieve? I think it's very important, and every organization should do that from time to time. But once you refresh your purpose, then you need to make people to understand your purpose, because then you can empower them. That purpose for me is, I'm sorry, I'm quite a technical person. So the way I explain it is kind of like your decision filter. Like if you want to do something, you need to ask, like, is it supporting that purpose or not? If it's supporting that purpose, then go and do it, what you believe is the right thing to do. If it's not supporting that purpose, then you should probably not do that, because then we would kind of like dissolve our resources and focus. We need to stay focused to deliver, to create impact, because if you want to make your purpose a live thing, it requires orchestrated, focused, organized effort to get there. But of course, it's not a matter of one team. It's a matter of all the teams working together. So they need to understand what we want to achieve, and then they can be empowered to make their own decisions to serve that purpose. So for that, of course, we also have our strategy that contains a part how to deliver on that purpose. So this is our enterprise projects, these are our agile teams, these are our functional roadmaps. And for that, you need to have a little bit more processes, but also some mechanism to track if you are on the right way. And for instance, I mentioned that one of the principles that what we actually track is how much of our resources we invest in improving our core and how much of our resources we invest in innovation. And here we are starting to be a little bit more technical, because I don't talk about external money. I'm talking about also our internal resources, which means you need to develop a mechanism to know what are people working on, but still keeping them free so that they don't feel like monitored. You know, that's not what anyone would want. But on the executive level, you need to have a certain level of understanding. What are your teams working on? Are they innovating, or are they improving, or are they just maintaining? So that you can make these informed decisions like, okay, so I need to strengthen these teams. For MIS, I talked about PMI by AI. We need to put more resources there so that we can innovate faster or with bigger impact.
Very good. So just as a maybe I do think PMI should be a candidate, Irila, as one of the most innovative organizations in terms of building an ecosystem and holding the ecosystem together, moving in the same direction, and adapting and changing again to what's going on. So I really would like to nominate at least PMI for that particular achievement, Irila.
Thank you.
Lenka, let's keep on going. There were moments where PMI said, let's add some new certificates or new programs or new things which might be on the complementary to what PMI was doing. And it went down that path as a growth trajectory, potential growth trajectory, and then maybe it pulled back or it absorbed. Maybe there's an example of one of each. Can you talk about those examples? Because we are also talking about how to grow, and everybody's talking about how to grow and how to say no to certain things and how to say yes to other things.
So yeah, so here we really go to my department, I would say, because that's why I mentioned in my presentation that it's very important to work with agile portfolio management, which means that you don't prioritize your activities or your change initiatives just by, I don't know how to put it, like this is the most important and this is the second most important. I don't believe that this is ever going to work, because you need to have a certain impact across your ecosystem. So you always need to have things that are moving in parallel. But what you need to monitor, what you need to measure is that impact that you are creating, because that's what you want to achieve at the end. So you constantly need to work and move forward in iterations, instead of like, okay, now I will focus 3 years just doing this and everybody has to work on that, and after 3 years we will be done. So this is not the reality anymore. You need to have vision for these 3 years for this particular initiative, but you need to be able to work in iterations, explore, adapt, move forward. And here you can also say no if whatever you are doing is not serving that purpose anymore. But you also mentioned that how does it work when we add something new? And here, maybe I would like to share that when it comes to PMI by AI, which is one of our new initiatives, we launched it last year. I just wanted to share very transparently that, of course, it was not easy because it's only a brand new thing that you need to add, and it has to be cross-functional. So then you basically need to start a cross-functional collaborative initiative with one objective, and you have their different experts, you have them people from different departments who know each other and collaborated before, but not in such an intense way. So the beginning was definitely bumpy because people needed to like get aligned on that objective, on that purpose. They needed to align how to work together. And there was a learning curve. And why I like to talk about that is because that's another reason why people who are leading these innovative initiatives really need to invest in their power skills. Because it's not that simple that you would say, hey, now you are nominated and now you're going to work on that. Especially in a remote environment, it's really not that simple. People need to understand why I'm doing that. And once they know why, then they need to understand how. But if it's an innovation, if you're creating something new, maybe no one doesn't have any answer for that at that moment. So they need to feel confident in whatever they do. You need to support them, you need to empower them, you need to help them. So that's pretty much about collaborative leadership, about problem solving, about that strategic thinking, all of these power skills. And that's why it's so important, because these innovative projects are not what I would call mechanical. It's not that, you give me a task, produce this, and I just go and produce. Like there's no path that I can see and follow. I follow a vision, but I have to create that path on the way.
Lenka, we are very aligned in that the people who do innovative projects versus projects that have been done by other organizations or companies and have some sort of best practices are very different than innovative projects where you have to iterate, and do this agile and sprints and all that, because you don't know what you don't know is the real part of those projects. And in there, we invest a lot in staffing it with the right types of people. So it's not just the knowledge, but also the mindset and the behaviors are required of, you said, resilience, anti-fragility, those kind of words in them, in individuals, that they don't give up. They find pathways, they're creatively looking for solutions. They know how to sell what they're trying to do, because it's hard to sell something that they don't know themselves, or what really the answers are. And so let me ask the hard question here then. If we were to look at the population of the world, everybody can be trained to improve, but not perhaps everybody should be put on this very hard, innovative projects, which are of the type of putting a man on the moon or climbing Mount Everest or bringing AI across a whole organization where there's resistance and all day, every day along the way. Is there something that you've seen in project management also where certain people will probably never do a good job in project management because they lack strategic thinking or they lack some other things? So I'm just talking about people skills, and then just the behavior and how they were trained as kindergarten and high school that somehow will anchor them to make them not high-performing team members in the future for project management or for innovation projects.
Yeah, that's very interesting question. So I actually have one story. So, and I mentioned that in my previous assignments, I was working for a company that was producing technology, physical equipment, and then we were transforming it into digital equipment. And when I got in charge for this particular project, it was already a second attempt to deliver on that. The first attempt was not very successful. And of course, when I got this assignment, the first thing that I wanted to understand, like, why didn't it work before? Because we had all the experts, we had all the R&D departments, we had like everything in place. So why didn't it work before? So then I found that a few years back, not that long, but just like a few years back, there was a different person who was in charge, but he did not manage to communicate his vision to the executive leadership team. So I actually connected with him. I let him explain like what everything happened, and then I saw this, that he is the true mind. He's the true mastermind of that innovation. But the difficulty was how to explain it, how to get people on board, how to share his vision. His vision, I liked his vision, and that was very technical vision, honestly. Myself, I would not be able to create that vision by myself with my technical knowledge. I was not on that level, but he was. But I was better at communicating. So basically we started to work together, and then I actually even brought him back to the project, but this time in different role. I brought him back as an expert, not as a leader of the whole initiative. And this is exactly what we needed. So you need to have people who lead and are not necessarily the experts. And then you also need to be able to work with your experts. You need to be able to speak their language so that you can truly use their talent and their expertise. This is what I found as like a lovely challenge throughout a lot of different projects that I was working on. And I always had that advantage that my master's is in computer sciences and technology. So it's easier for me to create that bridge between business and technical talk. And it's a great advantage in my case, and I'm really very grateful for that. But I also appreciate that thing, that skill, because I know that it's not everyone had that opportunity or the choice to study technology and connect it with business. But because business is getting more and more digital, and that's a trend that just like gets faster and stronger and more impactful, that ability to be able to build that bridge is really critical, because otherwise the opportunities might be missed or miscalculated. That sometimes you have idea and you say, this is great, this is what we're going to work on, but it might not even be feasible from a technical standpoint.
Very good. Lenka, we're coming close to the end of the session, and one comment I'll make, and then some other questions which are in the chat that are going on here. We believe in the power of and in innovation. Should we do this and this and this? Well, often in strategy, it's the power of or. Should we do this or this? And that has been confused tremendously in our environmental business environments, that people are being taught about the or. We must make choices too quickly. And those choices are not even well thought through yet. And then we kill things too early and all that. So there's a power of and that is foundational in innovation that we emphasize. And that needs to be somehow trained in people, saying there is a moment for or and there's a moment for and. And you need to know when to do each. But we can't do that at the organization level, because the organization wants to send one simple message on how we want to think and act. And then that's the challenge that we're running into. The question, some people are asking a really good question over here. Can people listening in here somehow get a PMI certificate? Can they get some sort of code because they're GIMI members? You guys can talk about that. Our community is asking. They want a PMI certificate. That's great for all of us. And so we'll get a message back, Lenka and Erila, to the community in terms of if there's something that we can do for you. But irrespective, get a PMI certificate. Sorry, I didn't yell. I was being polite. Get your certificates wherever you can. It's always good for you, because you'll learn, and learning is good for all of us. And it will make you much more disciplined in what you're doing. Lenka, you have the last minute. In terms of the community that we have, this is an innovation community. What's your PMI message, as well as Lenka message, to saying, hey, how can you be the best version of yourself in driving innovation with tools, discipline, and training and other things that goes with that? Lenka, you have the last minute.
Thank you. That's a great question. You know, honestly, I would say just trust yourself, speak up, and embrace uncertainty. Transform it in your mind as an opportunity. I think that's the key, because opportunities are everywhere. And you need to be able to find them. You need to be able to figure out if you want to do something about them. And when you have that idea, then you need to bring it up. So that's really a combination of problem solving, but it's also a combination of confidence, ability to communicate, ability to speak up. Because if you truly believe in something, then you have to pursue that. And that would be my message. Our job is to help you, to provide you with tools and learning, and save you some learning time, let's say. By sharing experiences from other people, what kind of challenges that they face and how did they overcome that. But at the end, it's all about us.
Great. Thank you very much, Lenka. Today, we had a fantastic speaker from PMI, the Chief of Staff. She knows everything, because that's what the role of Chief of Staff is, understanding everything that goes on in organizations. We got a chance to understand how they create some thought leadership, how they deploy the thought leadership across the company. They use that for creating the strategies, the use of trends, and the importance. And as they begin to add on whatever new knowledge comes along, whether it's AI, working from home, and integrating those trends into their programs certification. World's largest organization for project management. 1.6 or 1.7 million people have been members of these things. Encourage everybody to go to their website, learn more about it, and perhaps take a course, learn something. And we look forward to solving the problem of innovation, which is there are problems on this planet that we need to solve. And if we can train along with project management, innovation management thinking, and techniques, we should be able to solve any problem on the planet. So with that, together, we can. Thank you very much, everybody. Tune in next week.